Okay, this is all going to lead into why the timeline from 4 a.m. to 4:20 is not possible and did not happen. Is probably a complete farce, which we already knew this. But it's just, Tommy, how good does it feel to be validated? All of us to be validated for the stuff that we've been saying for years now.
That's the best feeling in the world, and like with this case especially, because you say things and you're speculating, but people think that and you kind of portray that you really feel it so strong that it's true, right? And
further validation of what exactly? The new documents that came out further solidify that the murders happened after 4 a.m. So I'm not quite sure why you're saying that timeline is not correct.
Further validation that we were right. So there you go. You heard it. They were texting during this time period. So once again, what did Ellie say? Oh, everybody was asleep. Everybody was just woken up. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Bullshit. Okay, so now we hear that Kaylee's probably walking the dog outside at 4 a.m.
Okay, we knew back from the time the PCA came out that Dylan and Bethany had been texting each other because they used their phones to help establish the timeline. But how does that say that nobody was asleep? Okay? Even Ann Taylor said that Kaylee never left the bed. So I'm not sure where you're getting that Kaylee was walking the dog, Rory. Dylan thought Kaylee was running up and down the stairs, but as they said during the court hearing, that would not be possible. So we know Maddie and Kaylee were asleep when the attack started. Ethan, it's believed, was also asleep, but we don't know for sure. The only one we know that was awake was Xana. And Dylan was asleep, but was awakened. Okay, if you go back and you look at all of her statements, she was awoke by these noises she heard. So they weren't all awake, okay? And Kaylee wasn't walking the dog at 4 a.m.
And who said this right here? This is Walking In. I know who you are. Walking In Tonka. Both girls have a valuable story, and discounting anything that are ignorance. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. And then you're fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But we're going over this right now. How the hell could you believe anything Dylan said?
Wow.
How can you?
I'm starting to wonder about some things here lately. There's been some strange
I agree. There has been some strange.
Tonka's not like that.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that, Tommy.
And that's fine.
There's people coming in here using same names and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about this with somebody. Was that you, Nat, last night? We talked about this shit?
It was.
And I'm starting to see it more and more. So, yeah, I think there's some people after us.
Yeah, whoever you are, I disagree with that because, again, we just went through this, Dylan.
Wow. So, Wankanyan makes a valid point, and kudos to him for making a valid point, that their information shouldn't be discounted. But because Tommy and Rory disagree with that, suddenly it must not be Wankanyan, that it must be somebody pretending to be him. Tommy and Rory, do you not understand that people can have differing opinions? Like, they don't have to agree with you 100% of the time just because they usually are in lockstep with you. So it was really crazy to see you attack him just because for once he didn't have an opinion that was the same as yours. So instead of just stopping it as I disagree, you had to then try to say that somebody must be using his name? I mean, and also just the paranoia behind that you think that people are really gonna steal somebody else's username just to express a differing point of view? Like, I don't know what you're smoking in those cigarettes, Tommy, but it's giving you a little paranoia there, dude.
I think we got 3 different scenarios going on, and then of course, the Murphy. Where in the heck is Murphy? Where
Right.
it's a lot. It's a lot being said
Then
within that hour.
right, and not not that the pictures that we've seen at Linda Lane with
Yeah,
looks like
I do.
looks like Murphy,
Yes, we've seen
and it
Murphy,
looks like him.
and he's running
Can we
around.
say first? And he's running around, and when I
If you think Murphy's running around in the Linda Lane footage, then you need to go to the eye doctor and get your eyes checked. Because he is not running around in any of the Linda Lane footage at all.
So
if Dylan was there, Dylan would have said, "Here you go." I just think that because I don't think she cared for him too much, the dog.
she didn't like the dog very much. So
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Any chance that she has to get rid of the dog, I'm sure she would have done it. So
Rory, other than this quick video clip I'm going to show, can you provide me with any proof that Dylan hated Murphy? Also, this video clip is humorous. It was the girls pretending to be each other, and nothing in that actually says that Dylan hated Murphy, that she would have wanted to get rid of him at any chance. So you're just making something into something that's not there.
Oh, Murphy, you look so cute. Get out of here. You seriously gotta get out of here. You're fucking stinking this shit out.
the guy that was taking the film for that group, the college group,
Right.
he said that he heard, and this is right around 2:00. I mean, because they got home at 1:56 and they were supposed to go walk the dog, right? And he said that he heard somebody whistling and he thought it was Ethan, but he said he's seen a black truck pulling in and some whistling. And
No, that guy never said anybody was whistling. Also, how would he know it was Ethan? I mean, this guy lives in Illinois. And also, he never said a black truck. He just says a truck entered the driveway. And of course, we know this was a hoax anyway, because the guy later admitted to making it up and he pulled his post down. But yeah, I don't understand why you guys continue to make shit up.
You're absolutely right. There's no way that Murphy was in the house when these crimes occurred, if the event occurred in the house. How about that scenario? Because once again, if they're claiming the doors are open, right? The doors are open. There's no way this dog walks around, does not get any DNA of any sort on it. So to me, that might imply that there is not a bloody crime scene at all. There's not. It was staged. In my opinion, possibility, don't know. But
exactly, right on the money you are.
Well, apparently everybody that saw the crime scene, all the first responders to the house, are all lying then. It's all staged. There was no blood. Nothing. I mean, I guess even Ann Taylor, because she hasn't even come out and said that she believes they were killed elsewhere. And, everything is showing. All the new documents that came out lead to the crime taking place in the house. And what I was told before the gag order went into effect was that the blood was contained mainly to the 2 bedrooms that the deceased were found in. It was not all through the house. It was contained to the 2 bedrooms. And that's making sense with what we've seen so far with the documents. But I would love to see your proof that these people were killed outside, that it was staged. When you have proof, come find me, show me. Until then, I'm going to go with what I've heard from people knowledgeable in Moscow and what the court documents are showing so far. So, but yeah, if you find proof that they were killed outside and moved into the house, then I will look at your proof and go from there. And as far as golden doodles, a lot of people have reported that their golden doodles have some peculiar things that they're scared of. And some will not go near blood. They won't go near anybody injured or near blood. So it's a possibility that Murphy completely avoided Kaylee's, or not Kaylee's room because he was found in Kaylee's room, but completely avoided Maddie's room and avoided the blood.
This establishes they're awake. This establishes that they heard something and they're scared. Why the 8-hour time delay? Now, sorry, I've long suspected that Dylan either has something to do with this or is the biggest freaking retard walking around, but probably both.
Okay, that right now, not cool. Okay, using the R word, not cool. And I'm one of the least politically correct people you will find, but that word has become offensive in our language. And there's a lot of people that's used as a slur against. And it's not cool. And that says a lot about you, Rory, that you would choose to use that word and that you would call Dylan that. Okay. Regardless of what you think about her, using that is ridiculous, especially because my guess is you probably fully support Ann Taylor in wanting to get the death penalty removed from off the table for Kohberger because he has autism, because he's on the spectrum. So would you be okay with somebody using the R word against Kohberger? Somehow I don't think you would be, but yet you're okay with calling Dylan that. Yeah, not cool.
I was going to say that.
Probably both.
And no, Tommy, it's not funny. It's not something to laugh about, calling someone that.
Just something on the hand railing, though.
Well, yeah, they did one little tiny spot though, but wouldn't they use luminol?
Yep.
Because once you still, if you clean it up, you still
Well,
use
that's how
luminol.
they
You're going to
found-
be able to see it.
Well, they found that one.
Uh-huh.
All I can say is they must have did a hell of a job on the others.
Mm.
I don't know how you can get rid of it. I mean, you can get rid of it, but how do you get rid of it so luminol doesn't pick it up? I'm not sure of that.
Well, I'm sure Jack Showalter's parents would know that, and probably Jack Showalter too.
Thank you,
And
Lord.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Not only that,
They
David
own
B.
a cleaning company.
First of all, no cleaning was done. There was no cleanup. There was no sign of a cleanup. You will find this out at trial, but I can assure you there was no cleanup done. Also, Showalter's parents don't own a cleaning company. They're both doctors. And no, David Berrioch's parents do not own a cleaning company either. But yeah, there was no cleanup. Those girls didn't even venture back upstairs after Dylan went down to Bethany's room.
And simply solo clean
Great.
clean
That's a great
booties
point.
morning of. Yeah, clean booties morning of. All those clean booties of them coming
Yeah.
out. You know there wasn't any BLOOD in the halls and stuff because
Yeah, but
they
I
didn't have
also
any on their booties.
It's hard to tell from a lot of the footage, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't blood inside the house, just because you're not seeing any on the booties when they come out.
On
Listen,
outside.
in my opinion, I haven't said this out loud, but in my opinion, I think that forensic team are crisis actors. In my opinion, here's why: they don't have the proper attire. They're not following procedure.
Right.
They're
Right.
just taking like random pictures of shit, picking it like they're making it a point to like, oh, look what we just found.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Should I start calling you Alex Jones, Rory? Don't forget what happened to Alex Jones.
Right.
You're right.
It's like, if this is such a huge cover up, and I mentioned this before, and all these people are part of this cover up that's there, possibly. Maybe they just said, this is what's going on, this is where it's at, do your role. No one's really going to know.
Again, just a reminder of what could happen when you claim that something isn't real, or are crisis actors, or a cover-up, and you don't have a shred of proof to back it up.
if Kaylee is walking the dog at 4 a.m. like it's alleged as well, would she not see this white vehicles? She's a very smart girl. She's very perceptive. I'm sure she was taught to look out for things like that. I would notice a car circling the neighborhood 4 times. Wouldn't you? Especially
Again, Kaylee wasn't walking the dog at 4 a.m. I'm not sure where the hell you keep getting that from, but she wasn't outside walking the dog to have seen Koberger driving around.
So, Tommy, I want to ask you. There's a rumor going around about 4 brothers. Can you clarify that, or anybody?
Well, there's a couple of different sets of them. Kopaka was one of 4 brothers.
Okay.
And from what I hear, so is Steve G. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't checked into that one. Was there one more? I think there might be one more, but I can't remember who.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Kopaka brothers. Okay.
Kobaka Brothers is a big one to me. That seems pretty huge.
Oh, Payne has 4 brothers. Okay.
Oh, that's who it was. Payne. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Oh,
Well, that's
okay.
convenient.
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
All right.
I'd start looking at that, but okay.
Except for the fact that those 4 brothers were on the Koberger family tree. So I don't know if you guys just don't take the time to read documents, or if you read them but you don't understand a damn thing that you're reading. Because, seriously, those 4 brothers had nothing to do with Kopaka, with Payne, or anyone else other than Koberger. Okay? It's in the documents. They were on the Koberger family tree.
Somebody got paid well for that.
Mhm.
So, and what did they find in that car? They found like a wig and hair. Did they find a bunch of like it looked like it was like some homeless person's car or something like that? Now, the problem with it is where they dumped it and how they dumped it too. It was obvious it was an abandoned job. Very, very
Right.
obvious. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so to reiterate what Nika is talking about here is this car has been traced back to the owners of the house. I'm not going to say their name, but we know who these people
Yep,
Right.
you know.
and this has been
And
going
some
on.
of her videos ended up missing. She talks about that too.
Yeah, and this is why I've never come out with that information, because I knew if I did, I either would have lost my channel or gotten some serious trouble.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so the car was crashed and it was totaled, so it had been abandoned. It was not related to the Idaho case. It was on official police reports down there, and it was also reported to the state DMV and insurance commission. It was part of a job injury crash because the owner had been traveling for work when she crashed it. I'm not going to give her name because people had already found out her name and were harassing her. But no, she did not work for anyone associated with 1122 King Road. That car was not owned by anybody associated with the house. And Rory, it's laughable that you think your channel would have been messed with if you had talked about the car, because several of us talked about the car and never had our channels messed with. I mean, the VIN number has been out there for a long time, and the facts of this have been known. So, anyways, let's move on.
Brian Koberger is until December 19th.
Let me ask you this now. Now that Payne's got four brothers, or there's 4 brothers there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Payne went up to, because Payne wasn't the first one to be the head investigator? There was another dude. Then they named Brett Payne. Took over for that guy. Do you think Payne went and begged? Do you think Payne went and begged Fry for that lead investigator spot?
He may have begged.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be interesting? He's got 4 brothers and he goes and begs to fucking be the head lead investigator.
It's possible, or it was already planned and Fry already had him planned out too.
That too.
Well, weren't they supposed to be on a hunting trip together?
Allegedly.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, they looked
Why
pretty
did they-
cleaned up
why did
when they
they
were
not
at the
ride
crime
at the same
scene for
time?
being on hunting.
Why did they not arrive back at the same time to the house? I mean, wouldn't that be the very first place you would go and you would hoof it?
Right.
Yep.
Okay, Payne and Fry were not on a trip together. the weekend the murders happened. How Payne became the investigator, or the lead detective, was because originally Tyson Barrett was put in that spot temporarily. But Tyson's with the campus division. He's not with the services division. He's not a detective. So the detectives you had over in the services division were Sergeant John Lawrence, and then Danny Vargas, Lawrence Mallory, and Eric Cornice. Okay. Lawrence was set to retire, was supposed to be at the end of the year, but he actually didn't retire until March of 2023. But Fry had already decided that Payne was going to become the supervisor of the detectives unit. So he put Payne into the lead detective position for the murder case. Also, Four Brothers, again, has nothing to do with anything. The Four Brothers were on the Koberger family tree, not Payne.
You just got to look at the corner club and the grub truck. It tells you really where it's at.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
opinion.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's another
And
thing.
back it up.
How all the only question that was asked when they were walking, the three of them from the corner club to the grub truck, was, Maddie, what'd you say to Adam? I told him everything. And then Jack S says, well, either we're going to get you or they're going to get you, whatever, because I haven't been able to tell exactly what he said. And so I don't want to say we or they for sure. But the fact of the matter is they didn't say anything else. And all of a sudden now they're going to be getting, somebody's going to get them. So how did he know what they were talking about?
That's a really, really, really good question.
She always asks questions.
Yeah, and the other thing too with that is Jack S said we're going to get you for that. Well, he already knew this was going down.
Okay, I'm going to refer you to my part 1 video. If you haven't already watched part 1, go back and watch that, because this is addressed. And Showalter never said they're going to get you for this. Also, you have the wrong order. Okay, they were walking along, and Showalter said, we're going to go get you some grubs, Maddie, and then we're going to go home. And then Kaylee asked Maddie, what did you say to Adam? And she said, I told Adam everything. So that was the order. Okay, Showalter didn't say his part after the two girls talked. He said it before the two girls talked. And I also played the snip from Steve talking about what the Adam conversation was about. And it was about Kaylee wanting to get back together with Jack.
Misdirection and misconception is what.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because there's investigations still going on, and they're going to nail some fucking
exactly.
people. They're going to nail some people that are really huge.
Mm-hmm.
Something big is going to go down. I mean, like something really, really big.
I can't wait, Tommy, to see what big is going to go down. And if something big doesn't go down, what are you going to say then? Are you just going to make up another story? Are you going to say that somebody flushed $1 million worth of drugs down the toilet this time? Or that there was a street fight taking up 5 blocks in downtown Moscow? Gee, I can't wait. And that's the end of part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, where I bring you more of the ludicrous land of Tommy and Rory.